Damn, first day of the year, shit going crazy. Very first day. Let's get into it.
First of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
The suspect is Shamsuddin Japour, which is a 42-year-old real estate agent from Beaumont, Texas. Now, in this marketing video, he states that he's born and raised in Texas, lives in Houston, but there's a few things odd right off the bat that I found.
Born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life. With the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist.
Why does this video feel like a setup? Because he's giving vital information about his background instead of talking about real estate. Mind you, this is the only video he's posted on his YouTube back in 2020, then completely fell off. Then his real estate license actually expires in 2023 and he doesn't renew it. So this screams sleeper cell to me. Going back to the truck, so that flag that's covered up is an ISIS flag, and allegedly that's who he has allegiance to. Now here where it starts to get really weird. Ford's X account got hacked a few days ago saying all eyes on Gaza, Israel is a terrorist state, free Palestine, and Ford even made a statement saying their account was compromised and they did not make those posts. Then you have an attack with a Ford F-150 Lightning with an ISIS flag. What are the chances? And who could have hacked that Ford X account? Oh, I don't know, maybe a military IT specialist? But it doesn't stop there. This actual car was at the scene of another attack. Can anybody tell me why that same truck was in front of this Cybertruck that blew up in front of Trump Towers in Las Vegas? You can't make this shit up. Now this Cybertruck pulled up, parked, and then exploded with the driver inside. Now, obviously, they are sending a message to Elon and Trump. And who would willingly pull up just to unalive themselves like this? Sleeper cell. And I find this pretty odd that Elon reposts this on his X account saying this Cybertruck looks like the future. This was a response to this post saying this Cybertruck is on fire and this literally looks like the Cybertruck is exploding. And it doesn't stop there. So you guys, on New Year's, the Empire State Building, the Washington Monument, and the US Capitol get struck by lightning. You mean the same name this truck, Lightning, struck people in New Orleans. Got it. Also, they said that this truck was sitting on a dealership lot on December 14th, then got bought, then got put on Turo, which then he rented. Not to mention that Cybertruck that was in front of Trump Tower was also rented on Turo. Then the Airbnb he rents actually catches on fire and dozens of people had to evacuate. How convenient.
This is called a PSYOP. They plan 20 years in advance. His real estate business went out of business in 2023. He got his motherfucking real estate license in 2020. So he only sold real estate for 3 years, and then what the fuck did he do, huh? Yeah, do some investor research on that motherfucker. From 2023 to 2025, what the fuck was this motherfucker up to, huh? 2020, 2003. So for 22 years, this motherfucker's just been a ghost. And also the Airbnb, the room that he rented out down in New Orleans, that mysteriously burned to the ground also. They covering their tracks is what I'm saying. So, and then that same truck that white Ford motherfucking F-20 that plowed through New Orleans is the exact same truck that's parked in front of the Cybertruck out here in Las Vegas. Same license plate, Lightning. And don't you know the Empire State Building, the Capitol Building, and the White House were all hit by lightning strikes. Damn near at the same goddamn time. I thought lightning didn't strike at the same place 3-4 times. All fucking emblems of America's freedom struck at the same goddamn time. Conspiracy? I think not. He just so happens to be Abdullah. He had the name to fit the gang. The one out here is his last name ending Burger, so they didn't show him on TV a lot. But this little motherfucker, Booga Dooga Dooga, they showed this motherfucker 24/7, 24 hours a goddamn day, because he almost looks black. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Take a look at some of this footage of the explosions and shit, because...
And police.
Tesla truck from the same rental company of the attack in New Orleans.
Some breaking news out of Las Vegas. The explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck outside of Trump's casino and hotel now being investigated as a possible terrorist attack. 3 senior law enforcement confirmed the information moments ago. The incident killed 1 person and injured 7 others. A Cybertruck burst into flames outside the hotel earlier this morning. Police say they don't believe this is connected to the deadly attack in New Orleans, but the car used in Las Vegas was the same rental company. Officials are looking into the motive. We will continue to update this story as soon as more information becomes available.
Something seems off about this alleged attack.
Video of 3 men and a woman placing possible explosives around this area. Tracy, this is brand new into our newsroom. So what does that tell you? And to the point about the sheets, I think the sheets were also put up to shield the hotel guests' eyes from the carnage on the street. So you're right with those 2 points. But now we're hearing this video of 3 men and 1 woman placing items, and it seems as though they are connected to the suspect. Tracy, what do you say to that?
Well, this is very, very similar to the Boston Marathon bombing that was just brought up in the Tsarnaev brothers, where you had 2 of them, right, placing those IEDs. This is not at all surprising, because I do think it would have taken multiple individuals to place the IEDs, plan on where that placement would be, as well as then obviously use the vehicle to ram this crowd. But what that also tells me as well is, look, I'm former law enforcement. I think law enforcement is actually doing an excellent job here, but it seems to me that there may not have been explosive sweeps that were done of the French Quarter and of Bourbon Street in particular as a result of securing this area, because part of me does wonder if that explosive would have been picked up by either a dog or a device. Again, I can't say for certain if that occurred, but part of me does wonder. There's no question they are now looking for these individuals and combing through particularly that digital evidence.
It is believed that the suspect may have lived, and then that his ex-wife and her new husband may live on a separate section of Houston, Texas. There has been a SWAT situation and what appears to be military vehicles there in that Houston neighborhood. Public records search that I did earlier revealed that was the area where he had his last known address.
I was going to say, based on the research that you all did and finding out more about his background and finding out from the U.S. military about his background, yes, he seemed like he lived a normal life at one point, and yes, some people said that he actually was doing very well. And we showed videos where you listen to him speak, and he's talking about real estate, I guess maybe real estate investment here, but he was talking. So when you listen to him and you think, at what point, we talk about people being radicalized. At what point did this potentially happen? And is this a person who was truly radicalized, or is this someone who is just using? I guess they're trying to confirm the affiliation to the ISIS terrorist organization.
Yes, we don't know yet. And the FBI earlier today at around 1 o'clock, they may have been able to confirm this by now, but As of 1 o'clock this afternoon, the FBI had not confirmed whether or not he had any direct ties to any.
Both of the men that were behind the attacks yesterday have deep connections to each other. Both of these men, the one behind the Cybertruck Vegas outside Trump Tower attack and the man behind the New Orleans attack, both of them served in the U.S. Army. Their connection does not stop there. In 2012, they were both stationed in Fort Bragg together. Both of the cars yesterday that were used to carry out the acts of violence were rented through the Turo app. Now, there are a lot of people in the U.S. Army. There's a lot of people that are stationed at Fort Bragg. And there are also a lot of people that use the Turo app. But to have all of that and then also carry out what they carried out yesterday on the same day in separate cities, coincidences don't exist. Coinky dinks don't exist. And it's also worth noting, on top of all of this, Ryan Ruth, the individual that was arrested for trying to assassinate Donald Trump on his golf course in Florida, visited Fort Bragg 147 times over the past 4 years, staying overnight on 29 occasions. I don't like that one bit. Both of the men
bandwagon very easily. I do not jump on the conspiracy bandwagon very easily, but how many coincidences are too many coincidences? When it comes to the twin tragedies, on day one of 2025, a mass murder by truck in New Orleans, a truck bomb in Las Vegas, it's just hard to ignore that the two perpetrators had a whole lot in common, as did their attacks. So far, the official line is the events are not connected, period. End of story. They are not connected. But if your spidey senses are telling you that it sure doesn't feel that way, my friends, you are not alone. I am with you, and we have other friends too. I do not jump on the conspiracy. But if your spidey senses are telling you that it sure doesn't feel that way, my friends, you are not alone. I am with you, and we have other friends too. I want to run down the list of coincidences. Both attacks occurred on New Year's Day, within hours of each other. Both targets were party cities, New Orleans and Las Vegas. Both perpetrators chose trucks as their weapons. More specifically, they both rented electric trucks using a budget car sharing app called Turo. They both drove long distances from their home states to commit their attacks in those party cities. Both vehicles had multiple guns on board, weapons, and explosives inside. And both had a means to detonate their explosives. And both attacks were carried out by decorated U.S. Army veterans. And believe it or not, they both received the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Let that sink in. Talk about a slap in the face. Both of these service members shared more in common than that. They had both served at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. They both deployed to Afghanistan in 2009. And they both served at the same military base. Both suspects died during the attacks, something that looked like it had to have been planned. This is a lot of coincidences to take into account. But despite that list, the investigators say it is still too soon to tell if those two attacks are connected or if the suspects even knew each other. And I will give the authorities this. It might just be because the agents today said that they have yet to go through the digital footprint of the guy on the right, the Vegas suspect, to see who he's been talking to before he decided to go ahead and explode a Cybertruck at the front door of the Trump Hotel. I do not jump on the conspiracy bandwagon very easily.
Shit's getting weird. Part Infinity.
Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch.
Both of the men that were behind the attacks yesterday have deep connections to each other. Both of these men, the one behind the Cybertruck